Hi, FlossTube. My name is Grace. I'm the Paisley Stitcher here on FlossTube, as well as on Instagram. Welcome to my channel. Today is FlossTuber for a Day, number 15. And before I introduce my friend Dawn, I just want to encourage you to grab your stitching, something to drink. My vision for FlossTuber for a Day is that you feel like you're sitting and visiting with your friends, because that's what Dawn and I are going to do. We're just going to visit and talk cross stitch, and I hope you enjoy it. So today, please welcome my friend Dawn to FlossTuber for a Day.
Hi, Grace. Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
so glad you're here.
Me too.
Um, Dawn is also in San Diego, so I have another stitchy friend, and I'm thrilled. How did we meet?
We met at Sampler Symposium in January, my very first ever current retreat and the first attic retreat. And
The
I
first one you went to? First
ever,
attic retreat ever.
yep,
Yeah.
ever. And
Oh,
I walk in this room of good Lord, how many people were in that room?
a
And
lot.
I knew nobody. And then I see you and Brenda and Nicola and people that I know because I watch you on FlossTube. And I thought, oh, this is amazing. There's somebody I know. I'm going to go say hi. And went, I know. And I went and found my seat. And then I got up the courage and introduced myself and said, I know you're in San Diego. So am I. Hi, I'm Dawn.
So glad you did.
Me
We've
too.
become fast friends talking about our love of stitching, and
Laughing at life.
yes, we do laugh at life.
And then
And
you said that you started a monthly stitching thing, stitchy
yeah,
group at a store up north. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go. And I screwed up my courage and did that too. So now I have a whole community of locals that we can get together and chat. And it's absolutely lovely. So I'm really glad to know you.
it's the best. I'm really glad to know you too. It is the best having stitchy friends. I swore for years I was the only cross stitcher in San Diego. I didn't know. I mean, we don't have an LNS, so
No, we don't.
where do we go to connect? And I just started going to retreats at the attic and connecting with people and finding out there's quite a few of us in San Diego.
There's a lot of us in Southern California.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Even though
lovely.
we don't have, I mean, the attic is our LNS, and that's 5.5, 6 hours away.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
we do it.
So tell me, when did you start stitching, or what got you into this cross stitch?
Well, I didn't start in cross stitch until I was in my 20s, actually.
Mm.
I started, my mom was a wonderful knitter. She didn't like crochet, but I couldn't get the hang of knitting, so she taught me how to crochet. And I made a lot of Afghans over my life. When we were first married, I made Afghans for extra money. It was like, I don't know how I had the energy, but you know, so I crocheted a lot. And then I enjoyed it, but I really wanted to try something else. So I saw a kit in a store, and this is before I was in single digit age. I don't know how old, and this is what I made.
Wait, you were like 8 or 9?
Probably, maybe
Wow.
even less. I distinctly remember stitching this one and being annoyed by it.
What, the one with the X's?
Yep, the black and blue one. And so I had this flat and I made this into this pillow probably 9 years ago.
Did you?
Yeah. And it's a rough and tumble stitching thing, but I adored it. And so I did
Yeah.
other pieces, but this is the only one I have. And
I
then
love that you kept it all these years and then finished it.
Well, and it's even more interesting. My dad was in the Air Force, so we moved every 3 years. I don't have a whole lot from when I was wee. I just
Me
don't.
either.
But I this obviously made it. We were stationed in Germany for 3 years when I
Mhm.
was teenager years. And this
You were
is
doing
what
surface embroidery, that so you did that in Germany?
did this one in Germany.
Wow.
And
Yeah, I was
it's
looking at that.
and then Mr. Puffy Cat.
There's, okay, I don't do surface embroidery, but it looks like there's all different kinds of techniques and stitches in there.
So I did this probably around 12, 13.
Wow.
And then I did a lot of embroidery. I have a lot of embroidery too that I didn't, that's all the stuff I brought out just because I have, you've seen the waterfall in my dining room. It's
Yeah.
ginormous. And I did
Yeah.
that in 81. So
Wow.
this is where I started, was here. Are you still there?
I'm still
Yeah.
here. Yep. Did I freeze? We've been
No,
having some
no, my
glitches. So,
screen decided to go elsewhere. Okay, we're
okay.
turning you
Yep.
off.
I'm still here.
Okay, good.
So,
And
so do you have any other embroidery to show us?
not today. I
Okay.
decided to just get it right in, get finally into it, because I did finally discover cross stitching. And it was my husband and I moved here in 86.
Wow.
Oh, actually, no,
And
this is my oldest whip. You asked for it.
yes, I want to see your oldest whip. Is
So
it
this is,
finished? No,
oh
it's a
God,
whip. It's
no.
not finished.
It's pre 1983.
It's older than my oldest whip. I don't think you've ever shown that to me.
No,
Okay, this is your oldest, not your first.
it's the oldest whip.
So pretty.
And so it's pre 1983.
Is
I
it
know
on Ada?
it's on Ada. You can see the discoloration that's happening. And I know it's pre 1983 because I bought the companion kit. This is Gather Ye Rosebuds. It's a reproduction of a stained glass window. And there's a
Really?
mate this is Gather Ye Rosebuds, and it's fair daffodils. So she's in yellow and there's
Oh,
daffodils. And I have that full kit still. And
you have it.
I bought it in 1983.
Wow.
But I think it must be my first piece because it's a hot mess. I've crossed it, God knows, all the wrong directions. There's nothing in order. I started and I did the board, all of it, because I wanted it all to fit, but I did all the back stitching, before I finished the stitching. I mean,
Oh,
good
yeah, I
Lord.
did that too.
Jeepers, lady, what are you doing? But this is my oldest whip and I love her. So I have her hung in my stitching room in my closet because I open it and tell her hi.
Are you going to finish her?
I don't think so. The fabric is really a mess. It might be because, I touched stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's old.
That's
So,
a perfect example of, I hear Nicola in my head that we should keep our hands clean when we're stitching.
I mean, I couldn't cross them the same direction two next to each other. So why would I keep my hands clean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
my oldest
But
whip.
what made you switch from surface embroidery to cross stitch?
I think I loved that. I've seen that stained glass window in real life and I
Okay.
loved it. So I wanted it in my house and then I wanted the pair. And I'm pretty sure that's my first cross stitch ever. And why would it be something small? So I
Go
just
big or
picked
go
it up.
home.
And then I liked surface embroidery, but it's with wools and it's just different. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing, it's just different.
Yeah.
And then when we moved here in 86, I don't need this.
Oh. Oh my gosh. That is
So
beautiful.
I bought this kit at Lee Ward's when we first moved into town, and it's on Ada. And so we moved into town in 86 and I finished it. And then
Wow.
we moved out of graduate student housing into a neighborhood, and it was a lot like living in New York. It was all these little stores, and there was this frame store, and we bought this frame for it because I wanted a round frame. And the frame was, get ready for it, $70.
In 86, that's a lot of money. And if you're
But
just out of college, that's a
yep,
lot of money.
yeah. Well, it was, my husband got out of graduated from grad school.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That is beautiful.
And it that
Do you hang that up at Christmas time?
oh yeah. Oh
Good.
yeah.
Good.
And it's got pride of place on top of the stairs. It's really fun. And then
it should have pride of place.
I keep going, you know.
Okay. Yeah, show me what you got.
This one is from 89.
It's all the little quilt squares, right?
Yeah, they're sorry, it's glass.
No glare. No glare. You're okay.
There's the bottom.
Yeah.
And this is also on Ada.
Really?
Yeah, and it's from 1989. And of course, my husband made the frame.
So that's something you should share with people. That, would you say the majority of your frames or all of your frames now Greg makes?
It's the majority of my frames. There's only 2 so far in recent memory here. That we went and got them framed at a frame shop. Because Greg, like, this is, see, it's screwed together.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So most everything that he has, well, recently it's a little different, but we get good wood. So we go to the hardwood store and get really interesting woods. Yeah. And he does them from stock, wood stock.
Wow.
And
then stains them the color
that we want. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fabulous.
And then he's recently started putting veneers down. So when we get to my letters from Europe, we have it all planned out how we're going to do it. It's going to be some veneers and some really good hardwoods.
Oh,
so
that is fabulous. So do you frame them, and do you lace? Do you pin? Do you do both? That's the backs of mine too.
Yay! Masking tape and hot glue.
Oh. I have so many from the 80s and 90s that I've stuck them to sticky board.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's gonna, if I ever take them out, it's gonna be a mess.
Well, I thought this morning that I wonder, because we're both doing reproduction samplers, and there's something very fabulous about knowing that they are part of you and you are part of them, and you wonder what their life was, and did they take this stitching path? Like, I'm doing the A first. Did they start at Z? Like, just all these thoughts. So all of these are going to be part of somebody's life. And that when they get that one, good luck getting that one pulled apart. Yay, you!
What was this stitcher thinking?
Yes. So then in the early 90s, I became aware of the spirit of cross stitch festivals. And I was in a part in my career where, you know, we made money and I could afford it. So I ended up going to 4 different ones. My first one was in 1991, and it was in Sacramento.
I never got to any of those.
You know,
and I wish I had.
Basically it was classes, and then the convention center was the mall. And when I say the mall, it's like the floor at Comic-Con, like 50 to 100 designers and stores and this. And as we go through, you're going to see this is the breadth and depth of how I got I got so deep into this. And this is where the real cross stitch started. So I took a class with Eileen Bennett.
Yep.
From the Sampler House.
Oh,
she had a notebook of stitches, and I took a class with her, and it was called the No J Sampler. It's my first sampler because she talked a lot about how samplers don't have J's in them. I's
Oh,
and J's go together.
right, right.
So, I mean, it was, and we're stitching. So here's, and it's finished and framed.
Oh,
So it's a hem stitch. So it's, and I'll turn it around. The reason I put this behind is it's a separate piece that I just sewed together on this other
I
piece of
see.
linen.
Okay.
And yeah, there's staples. I know. Yell at me now. Like, nah, it's a stretcher
Seriously?
bar. It's a stretcher,
Yeah.
but light will go through it. So there's an interior hem stitch, and it's right
Oh,
here.
yeah. Yep.
Wait,
For
right is
this,
left.
there you go. Now down just a smidge. There you go. Perfect.
So we're all sitting in there, and we're doing the ABC. It was mostly a full day class, and then we're doing this stitch, and then we're doing that, and we have her book, and blah, 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 blah. And then she says, okay, you're gonna use your needle and go in the middle and pull up this thread. So you pull it up, and we're all like, we just sort of look at her, and she goes, pull it out. And the room, you can tell she you crickets. And she goes, no, I'm not kidding, pull it out. And I just thought, she says to pull it out. I went, whee! And I
Okay.
from end to end of the fabric and pulled it out. And she goes, good for you. And everybody's looking at her. And she goes, now take your scissors and cut the next one halfway, half in the middle. Like, and I was like, and she said, do it. And I did it. And she goes, now unravel it and weave it into the hole you left on the other one. So that's why there's no.
Now, where did you do that? Show us where you did that. Right there. Yep.
So one thread's been pulled and the
Yep.
other thread was cut in half in the middle. And then you unweave it to the end and then weave it back through so that you can't tell because it just remade
Yeah.
the thing.
Wow.
So this became the beginning of utter madness. Like there's so much because of the whee became like,
Yeah.
what can happen?
So it gave you the confidence to try what? More complicated things, specialty stitches, just go for it.
Pulled stitches, specialty stitches. So in the next festival, oh no, it's here. I did this with Suzanne Miller. The rabbit is silk, my first ever silk. And here's the back.
Oh, that's so pretty. Wow.
Oh, sorry, the light is coming through.
That's okay. So is there a little pocket? Yep.
Yep. So I stitched with silk. I put it together. It's like, okay, I can do this. So this was 2 years later in 93.
At Spirit of Cross Stitch.
At Spirit of Cross Stitch. And then because I had the guts to do things then,
Yep.
I found Maureen Appleton,
Yep.
The Heart's Content. She does everything over one. I can do this.
On what count? Oh, that's all over one on
Probably 32.
wow. That is beautiful.
And it's just mounted in a box.
Oh yeah. So she gives you the whole thing when you
and it was
take her
38
class.
colors of DMC.
It's so pretty.
And then at the same festival, you know, because I can now do this stuff, I did this. So this is on 48 count silk gauze.
No. Oh my gosh.
I don't want to.
You're good. Oh, that's right there. Oh my God. How is it to stitch on silk gauze? I still want to try it.
It's fantastic because you
Yeah.
don't cross. Well, you can cross, but you have to get finer silk. Like you'd probably use, I don't know what this is because here's the kit. I didn't take it all apart, but here's the floss that the silks that are left. Oh,
So were you doing a tent stitch?
to be fair, I don't honestly, I think this is, these both are cross stitched because it just poops up like it's a little bead.
So
It's amazing.
let's see it again, please. Wow. Oh my gosh. And so you took a class to learn how to stitch on silk gauze. Does anybody teach that now?
I don't know because I don't think that there's nothing like the Spirit of Cross Stitch that I know of where there's classes and then shopping extravaganza. It's
Yeah.
retreats and then presenters. So there may be somebody, and maybe this will spur them on because, you know, it's an amazing thing. It really is.
If anybody knows of instructors that are teaching how to stitch on silk gauze, please leave it in the comments. Or if you know of anything that is like, what was the gala called that you just
Spirit of Cross Stitch. I
Spirit of
think
Cross Stitch?
they may still be around, but I haven't like found them. Then at the same retreat, you know, because I did
Because you're
Maureen,
there and you
because I
can.
did Maureen again. This is the piece,
Wow.
and it's 29 count over one. And this is how much I got accomplished in the class.
That's a lot.
And it's all over one. So it's 5 different specialty stitches.
Wow.
And you know, you did some of them in the margins.
Wow. I think I asked Barry this, or maybe it was Kathy, but do you feel like there's a resurgence in the specialty stitches, or am I just more aware of them?
I think there's a resurgence. I think everything is resurging again because you'll notice as I get further down, you're going to see some really interesting things that I've done in the 90s that are coming back. Not that, so it's amazing. All of this stitching is still there, and it just takes somebody to go, oh, like Nicola's doing her ABC, and that's what I'm doing, and it's all specialty stitches.
Yeah.
Specialty stitches have been around forever, and we have to rediscover them sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I guess everything comes back around.
so talking about something that comes back around. So you know Katie Strachan's casket.
Yes. Stunning. I know. He is
Unbelievable.
amazing.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
So then in 1995, I took Introduction to Stumpwork from Sharon Cohen. Let me see. It's a picture. Let me see.
Wow.
And, you know,
Okay, let me just ask what might be a stupid question because I only make X's and I'm just discovering these specialty stitches. What is stump work?
So Stumpwork it's like Katie Strachan's casket.
Okay.
It's 3-dimensional. Hang on, I just exploded my little pilots here. It's surface embroidery but like that wing, hang on.
Yes.
You have a piece of wire, you shape it like the wing, and then you stitch through it and across it. And it's separate from, and then you attach it to. So this is what I got accomplished in the class. There's my grape.
Where's the grape on the pattern?
There's a whole bunch of them in the corner here.
Oh, you got one grape. What are you stitching on to make that grape?
It's almost like needle tatting. And then this.
Oh my God.
This, where am I?
Yep. Okay.
Is one of the middle petals of the flower.
Wow.
So it's separate. And then
Yes.
you attach it after you make it. So it's almost like needle. I haven't ever done needle tatting, but it's separateness that gets attached. Katie, I'm sure, can teach us this because she did that casket.
Okay, Katie, we would love to learn that. I've told Katie, I said, I would love to do a casket. And she builds up my confidence and says, you can do it.
Yeah, you can. But you also need to know that I had a 4-hour class and that's what I did. It's not
that's why they're so magnificent, because it's not quick.
It's not quick, it's not fast. And then you can, I don't know if you can see, you can attach, let's see. They're called pilettes. They're like little sequins.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And those get attached on there too. So it's like this metal threads. So then that's where, oh, come on. I'm hitting my laptop, sorry.
That's okay. So you're just working on a little piece at a time. You're holding it in your hand and you're working it.
Yeah. And some of it is you will stem stitch around, and then you will anchor your stitches through the stem stitches, but not through the ground fabric. So there's, I don't know everything. So
I would love to take a class.
I know, I would love to do it again, but on a much smaller, it needs to be something small, because that was sort of daunting. So then I waited 10 years to go to another one.
That one scared you off for 10 years?
Well, they were expensive. You know, you were flying, you had hotels, you would go into the classes. It was an expensive weekend, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I didn't do it for 10 years. And then I went again, and I went into the mall, and there was this Danish store.
Yes. Which one? That one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you bumped your camera.
I did.
Yep. It's okay.
Are you still there?
Yep. I think I'm having.
I did bump the camera.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, and you've got the hem stitch around. Oh my God. It just keeps going. That is beautiful.
So it was with Danish flower thread, like real Danish flower thread.
Is that what Brenda's talking about? Or is that flower? No, it's not the same. Okay.
It's not the same. It's sort of the same in that it's a flower thread. It's more knobbly. But I put me on it. So I finished this, and so the kit was this giant piece of linen, all of the threads, which was a lot, and it was $100, which was a lot of money back then. And I almost didn't do it, but ultimately decided, no, I had to do it. And so I have this magnificent thing that comes out. The colors are amazing. I'm glad I got the blue. You know, it had other colorways, but I got the blue because see the red was fantastic, the yellow was fantastic, but
Yes.
and I remember talking with her for a long time. You know, she said, we can't do this all the time because she came from Denmark. And it would, so that is how big this mall was. It was this
Yeah.
amazing stuff everywhere, you know? So
Now, Historic Stickmuster, I'm not saying that right, has patterns very similar to that if someone's interested
exactly.
in something like that.
I know. I see those and I'm like, oh, grabby hands.
Yeah.
Give them to me.
Yeah.
So then because I went back to the festival and I saw Eileen Bennett again, and she spurred me on, and she had her patterns in the mall. So I bought a pattern. Actually, my husband picked it out. He goes, "Oh, that's a nice one."
A multiplication table.
With
Wow.
20 specialty stitches in the
Wow.
box. Right is left.
Stunning. Look at that.
So this is on 32 count.
Yep.
The multiplication table and the alphabet, that at the top, the alphabet and the verse are all over one. And it took me a year.
Is there a hem stitch in there too?
It's an interior hem stitch.
Yeah. Oh, that is a very special piece.
And Greg made the frame.
He made the frame.
Made the frame.
You know how many of us would love to have husbands that made frames for us? That is stunning. And we're frozen. So
So
Greg
Greg
made
made
the
this
frame.
frame. Yeah.
The frame too. It is stunning.
He's an amazing woodworker, man.
He really is.
And just to throw in some fun stuff, if you know me, you know I like hedgehogs.
Oh,
so this was about the same time that I was doing these other things. I bought it in 2005 from So and So, which was an online store in England.
Oh, is it still in business?
I think so. It's SEW and SO, so and so.
And so.
Mm-hmm. So that was just something fun to bring out. And then, because I like hedgehogs, this is in 2008. My mom made me a hedgehog, felted it. He's in the back corner under the lamp there.
Yes, I see him. I see him.
And she sent me the extra wool and eyelash yarn. So I knitted it up, put in a zipper, make sure nothing's going to fall out.
No way.
And then I made a bunch of hedgehog pieces. This was my bag that went with me everywhere. It had scissors, my glasses, blah, 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 blah. And of course, by this time, I had really leaned heavily into, so I made myself a little thing to remind me where to stitch on linen.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
I had this since 2000.
I love it.
So everything hedgehog, I've got chip clips. And this is 4 hedgehogs. See, there's one.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I do see.
then their
Yes.
feet, and then their nose to nose.
And
So
you
my
made
sis,
all of that.
yep.
Do you bring that? Are you going to start bringing that to retreats?
Well, it's kind of big,
Yeah.
you know, so I use a my Hedgehog bag now. So it's got a gate mouth on it, so I can just jam everything in there. It takes up less space. But
Yeah.
I adore this thing, and I would bring it, but you know,
And
I did bring it, but there wasn't room on the table.
yeah, it depends how many people are at your table too.
Yeah.
Did you stitch the hedgehog on the cover?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. You're amazing.
Thank you. And these are felted. Yeah, I used a felting needle just to push the roving into. He's got a big nose. He's got a wrong nose, but it's okay. It's okay. Don't look.
It's so cute.
Thanks. That's and so and then back to even more stuff that's coming back. Because so the multiplication table, Stumpwork, specialty stitches.
Yes.
I did a darning sampler.
What year did you do that?
So this is from in 2010. Okay, just so you asked about how we manage things. I put labels on the back that have when I started, when I finished, what kind of frame it is, what's the fabric, what's the fibers. So I got this from one of the stitching festivals. And
What do you
this,
mean by a stitching festival? What
the
is that?
Spirit of Cross Stitch Festival
Okay.
in
Okay.
the ginormous mall. And and I got it. And man, these puppies are hard.
Are
I
they?
mean, yeah, just because you're going over one thread and oh man. So I started it in 2010. I didn't finish it. I finished it in 2010. God knows when I started it because I have question marks on my start date. And
Maybe
then
it
I
went in
framed it in
timeout.
2021. So this is beginning of sampler lockdown finishes. I have all this stuff. So
That's
do a darning
amazing.
sampler. Do a darning sampler.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
You'll love it.
Really.
Yeah, they're hard. You have to, it's not an easy stitch. You have to think. You have to
That's
pay
okay.
attention. You have to
That's
look at it. But
okay.
it's good for you. It's good for all of us.
Yeah.
And then I don't know when I start. This was in 2010 as well. So I love Prairie Schooler. And I needed smalls to work on at work. So I stitched up a bunch of these smalls. Hang on, let me get it right because it's going to go crazy in a sec. And then I had all these smalls that needed to be, well, let's start.
Oh,
It's a doily that's a spider web. And I finished all these Prairie Schoolers
oh
and
my.
attached them to the spider web.
Wow.
Sorry, it's hard to show,
Yeah.
but I put it on. It's up on the wall and stitching every Halloween.
Amazing. How did you attach each prairie schooler to the doily?
Safety pin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just safety pin. And then because, I can't do anything, sort of, I found
You can't
another
do
doily.
just one.
I found another doily, but it's orange.
Oh my God.
And put the small ones on this one because this is actually a much smaller doily. Yeah.
Every single one of them are just so cool.
Prairie
And
Schooler is a go-to. Like you're having a bad day, you pick up a Prairie Schooler, dude, no more bad day.
and how did you finish each are they ornaments? How did you finish each one?
They're basically ornaments.
Yeah.
So yeah, hot glue is your friend. And it's on acid-free mat board. You
Uh-huh.
hot glue it down, and then it's felt. And then this one, I figured out a better way. It's not a safety pin. It's like a pin mount, but it's glued to the board, and you just cut a hole through the felt.
Yeah.
Little more stable.
Yeah. That looks fabulous.
Oh, there.
Oh my gosh. So how many lunch hours did it take you to stitch all those prairie schoolers? A few.
Yeah, a few. And I have so many others going. I have 3 different Christmas ones. I just finished the Easter, the bunnies Easter. That's going to be a fun mount. I'll wait till that's put together because and then this was in 2019, you know, I retired in 2019. And so I had this room. I didn't have a stitching room until 2015. I was really leaning into it. And I had patterns that I wanted to stitch, but I also didn't want to just stitch and like have this massive pile of stuff. So I made this.
What?
So this is Life's a, they're by Lizzie Kate. So this is Life's a Stitch.
Yeah.
Good things come to those who stitch. And then this is a quote from Rumi. It says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray."
Oh, that's
So this is
fabulous.
right inside my room. And then I've attached also, and I did my initials because it's important that if you stitch it, you should claim it. Because who knows
Absolutely.
in the future who's going to see this. Oh, and so I looked for stitching fabric and happened to find this one.
With hedgehogs. No way. Can you believe it?
Hedgehogs. And then these are 2 other stitching fabrics. They're not necessarily my colors, but I switched the colors up to work. And then I put all of my stitching pins on it.
Now,
I was
what is that? Yeah, what?
So DMC, probably in the 90s, you could register as a mentor with DMC. And if you taught, they would send you kits and stuff to teach them with, so you didn't have to like figure out the kits, the nonsense of the kits. So I taught a lot of people. I taught everybody at work that wanted to. My last class was 31 middle schoolers.
Oh, your last class.
Well,
That was it. They did you in.
not really. They were so exuberant and happy, but I had been thinking for a long time that I really needed to move on because it takes a lot to teach, and I wanted to do things. You know, I didn't want to spend my weekend. I worked full time, more than full time, and I didn't want to spend my weekends and evenings doing this class. So I taught these kids. It was in a park. It was ridiculous. I mean, dear God, what was I thinking? But it was so much fun. And they had kits where you started with basically a big plastic needle. So I've taught 5-year-olds. They were fun. They don't know what's happening. It's great. They don't follow anything. It's great. And then it graduates up, and they had a middle and an advanced and then a linen piece. And I had some girls go into linen, and we just stitched together. It was fabulous. So then, and I have to thank you for Grace helping me go through this, because I pulled this out, and this and this caught my eye. They're in a row on purpose. So this is Historic Needlework Guild, which is attached to this. So I don't have anything else to show for it, but this is the Sulgrave rabbit. Sulgrave is the ancestral home of George Washington. And in the 90s, I don't know who anymore because I don't have the paperwork. They bought this home and were refurbishing it. And one of the things that they were refurbishing is the bed curtains. And they needed stitchers to stitch slips. So it was little needlepoint little. They weren't little. And then they would have metallic thread put around them and they will be attached. So I started doing some looking because I can't find my book, but so you had to submit a sample. So you wrote to this lady and she sent you the sample kit and you had to stitch it up and send it back, and you were either approved or not, and I was approved. So the Sulgrave I didn't get to stitch a Sulgrave rabbit, I got to stitch a turkey. So my turkey is in England on some green velvet bed curtains. And so I was part of the Historic Needlework Guild, the HNG, and I did find and you had to send everything back. You weren't allowed to keep the pattern, the extra threads. You had to do it and it left your life. So that's why I couldn't remember it. But I did buy the kit of the Sulgrave rabbit.
Oh yeah.
But I must have at least taken a picture of my turkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I will find it at some point.
Have you gone there to see it?
No, not yet, because I did, and it was a 12-year project for them. Like they needed 1,000 American stitchers. So they're all over. So if I can find a link to a good picture, we can put it in the comments.
I would love that.
But I haven't found one yet because it's old.
Yeah.
I mean, when did I do this?
Yeah. What year did you do that?
2002, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're not doing it anymore. So I was going to try to reach out to them and say, do you have the names of the stitchers? And do you know what, because they said in the paperwork, I do remember that they will know which one is yours. So when you come, they can point it out to you. So I'm hoping they kept that up. I mean, so going through this reminded me of that complete madness that, like my stitching, let me stitch for you. And then I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, but what a story. It would be fun to find a project going on like that now.
I know, and the pictures of it are amazing. So just think of, bed curtains, like Harry Potter, but
Yeah.
they're all with pieces like this. So there's bigger ones and smaller ones, and they're all over. And it's to reproduce what was there. So they got the old slips off and charted them up, and then so
I bet it's on a website somewhere. We'll put whatever we find, we'll link it below or post it below.
Yeah, I'll try to find it because it was amazing. So then
that's a great.
Isn't that I can't believe I did it. Like,
and then I forgot until you saw those pins. I mean, that was your thank you, was they sent you the pins.
Yeah. And then fast forward to,
you've got a great story.
Isn't
That's
that
why
awesome?
I love doing these FlossTubers for a day, because everybody's stitching journey is different and so interesting.
Thanks. It's really, I have reconnected back with my journey. It's been amazing.
Good.
So during COVID, I was stitching like everybody was,
like crazy.
If you had it, you stitched it, or it was finished, you finished it. Like it was just 8 hours a day, man. It was a job. It was what you were doing. So I started Kathy Barrick's Squirrel Tree. So she's another one of my favorites. I didn't pull anything else. So I'm stitching it. I finished it. Greg made the frame.
Oh,
but look at this. Does that look sort of familiar in terms of
COVID viruses, right?
Yep.
Oh. And did Greg make the frame?
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. He's made everything. Wow. Well, he didn't make the frame on the darning sampler, but that's okay.
So you said Kathy Barrick is one of your favorites.
Yes.
Who else? Who else is your favorite?
Hats has like captured me.
Yeah.
Prairie schooler, give me a prairie schooler any day.
Yeah.
And a lot of historic. So that's something else is I have so many patterns of reproductions already. Like I bought so many from Scarlet Letter that I haven't made. It's like I have to get back into it.
That's interesting. You have a lot of Scarlet Letter.
I do. It's kind of amazing.
I love Scarlet.
I know.
Letter. Yeah.
So since we're finishing off whips during, Greg purchased for me, Charland Designs made sterling silver charms for bracelets and necklaces of specialty stitches.
No way.
And he bought me some, and I was going to make a necklace or something. And then I found this pattern, excuse me. It's Wisdom and Love by the Drawn Thread. And okay, I'm going to try to do this.
See I see them. Yes.
So in the pattern, it's a specialty stitch, and there's 2 flowers of specialty stitch. And I replaced every other one with,
wow.
And so this is over 1. All of this is specialty stitches.
Oh. What year did you do that?
Well, let's look at the back. I started it in 2010. I finished it in 2022, and we framed it in 2022. So I have initials.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
And the saying is amazing, is wisdom tells me I am nothing. Love tells me I'm everything.
That's beautiful.
So many specialty stitches. I mean, and Greg made the frame.
Can we see it close again?
Okay.
Wow.
I think this is where I stopped in 2010, right up in here.
And did she go in timeout for a while?
Because one of these, and I won't tell you which one because you can probably tell, really did me in. Really? And it's still not okay. And I decided it's okay if it's not okay.
Part of your story. It's okay.
Yeah.
I love that you used the charms of the specialty stitches and incorporated them into that project.
And they are by the specialty stitch themselves, as best I could, because some of them there weren't any charms for, but I just did it.
Oh.
And then, because it's COVID and I'm stitching.
We're stitching every minute we can to save our sanity, right?
I discovered 40 count linen. And I thought,
you weren't stitching on 40 count linen before
no,
COVID?
At 36 was about as much as I did.
Really?
Yeah. But I found 40 count and I thought I'd do a little project.
This is your first go around on 40?
Yep. And 67% of it is solid. Like this. Let me see. This is all solid.
Oh.
I can't see what I'm doing here.
Wow, you're doing great. Petit point. No.
It says little by little the wren builds its nest or something like that. So that's what this was. The whole,
look at that bird.
This is solid, 2-color solid. And the real thing is it's 40 count Alba Maxima by Legacy. So it's a hefty fabric, and I'm glad I did it because it's a heavy girl. There's a lot of thread in here.
Yeah. How did you like stitching on Legacy?
Adore it.
Yeah, me too. I
could probably do 46 on Legacy without breaking my brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can.
But this was my first.
You are not a slacker.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I love it. So
So
then,
are you going to frame that? Are you
yes,
that?
we need to find a good frame for it. Like, you're doing it and we want to do something a little bit more foofy. So we can't decide. It's one of those. I also have the Addicts conversion for, this is French garden, for English garden. So I want to do them both, and they're so completely different. But it's like, and so then in 2023, what happens? Nicola turns her special age. She puts out this box. It's a mystery box. Lose my shit. Try to get it. And I'm there, and and I get it, and the experience started from trying to get it, being successful, getting the box, opening it up. I opened it over multiple days.
Did
I
you?
took pictures before and after. I anal retentively wrote lots of notes. Who came first? What was the sticker? I mean, and it's during 2023, and my parents passed away in 21 and 20, and it's COVID, and it was what it was. And there's this box, and I'd lived in Germany, and I'd been to a lot of these places, and Greg said, love the man. He said, you need to do it, and you need to do it with all the called for stuff. And I said, you do realize that that's like impossible right now, like getting silks, getting fabrics, it's just impossible. So Nicola gave us silks in the box, and I had this other fabric, and I said, why not? I can switch it up. I don't switch things up much.
Okay, so you don't change colors.
Not usually. I like the called for, because my thinking is I bought the pattern because I liked it.
Yeah.
Why would I change it up? Because I liked it the way the designer did it. So
Yeah.
Nell in our group is amazing with color. I need to be with her a little bit it's not confidence necessarily, but I like it when I buy it. So I want to have it as it is. So there's my problem. So
yeah, she is great with color and changing palettes or enhancing them.
So I'll go through them, but I ended up stitching all 8 from the
stitched all 8 out of Letters of Europe box.
Yeah, some letters from Europe. So the first,
and if anybody was at Sampler Symposium in January, Dawn had them there and shared them with us.
So, and
amazing.
Burst into tears. Like, wow. I'll probably might do it again, but
that's okay. You're amongst friends.
So I did Fanny first.
Fanny Hussey. I love that name.
So
that's beautiful.
It was 103 that came in the box. Yep. And I used Marble Pointer by XJU. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. There you go.
That is beautiful.
And just so you know how anal retentive, I did a spreadsheet.
Of course you did.
And yes, I have all of my stuff inventoried. I have an Excel spreadsheet. I have Excel spreadsheets.
When you say your stuff, you mean your stash, your linen,
my patterns, my floss, my buttons, my beads, my.
Wow. And you know exactly where to go. So do these spreadsheets tell you exactly where you can find it? Really?
But I haven't updated it with my stitching room. We used to live in a house that was 974 square feet. So it was Tetris. So my Excel says dining room, lower left, and it's all in my stitching room now. So I need to update.
You need to update it.
Mm-hmm. So
but Dawn, that cuts into your stitching time.
That's why it hasn't been done. No. Let's be perfectly honest. The next one I did is also came in the box, and then the tabby cat I ordered came in, so it's it's not the called for, but what can I do? And it's Hilda Wiener.
Oh, That looks fabulous on that linen.
This is like, it's like Cherry's Jubilee. The silk is amazing. It's like vanilla fabric. Oh my God. It's just so, as I'm stitching these, so Fanny was from England. So it was like, oh, I'm with Nicola. We're going around. I'm stitching. It's fun. And then, oh, Austria. I've been to Austria, and made me think of my family and my past parents and my brother. And
Yeah, it's okay.
then I did Greece.
Have you been to Greece?
No, I learned
Me
a lot of
either.
Greek cuss words because this annoyed me at the beginning because I don't know the alphabet. I couldn't like just stitch it. It
Oh,
was a lot of mental energy to do it and do it right. There was a lot of pulling out, and it's a big one. And then I thought, okay, this is stupid. It's fun. I put on Greece travel YouTubes,
it's a great
and
idea.
I just went. Me and she traveled a lot together. And then, because I was done with Greece, it was mentally, it was a lot. I mean, it was
Yeah.
hard. For some reason, it just was hard. I went back to Austria
Oh,
with Gertrude and enjoyed the living daylights. This is Habsburg. So it made me, I went to high school in Germany for 3 years. So I started to integrate with the girls. They were me, I was them. Did I follow their same stitching path? Did they use silk? Was theirs bigger, smaller? Like, what does it look? What's the original look like? This is the process. It was just, I was stitching every day. I started them. It took me 6 months to do all, well, I
to
ended up
do all
to
of
do
them.
all of them. And then,
I love that you are traveling with the girls and watching travel videos and thinking about the girls.
and my life and their lives and how different or similar or uh, it was amazing. So then, I went to Italy because you got to go to Italy. And she's a big girl.
She is a big girl.
Oh my goodness. I We went to Italy when my dad was stationed there. The first Easter we were there, we were in the St. Peter's Square being blessed by the Pope.
Yeah.
I mean, so much
Oh,
of life is in these for me. And then
because
here's
it brings back memories of your time in that country
and the
and time
people.
spent with your family.
Yeah.
Those
And
are
some of it was
treasures.
hard. It's grief, but it's also fantastic and wonderful. So then went to Belgium, which I liked Belgium. Sophie.
Oh, so pretty. Yes.
And we're going to frame them all. Greg's going to make the frames. Some will be woodstock, really interesting. We found some really interesting woods. Some will be veneers. It's just, it's a huge project. So, and
Oh,
then,
I can't wait. And
well,
then you're
yeah,
going to hang them all together.
yeah, at the top of the stairs.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
And then here's Mathilde from France,
Oh,
which I had so much fun with her. All that blue after all that red,
and all the motifs
all the
or
motifs. I mean,
yeah.
it just, she and I played. This was a joyous stitch. I mean, let's be honest, they were all joyous stitches, but
Yeah.
they were
For
life
different
stitches.
reasons.
Yeah. And then Sweet Alice. This is the last of the box. And
Oh,
she
yeah.
had this smack of color, and that, who puts a pink roof on a house, whatever. It was just so
Alice
much.
does.
It was. And I just was there, and I realized I needed to get home.
Yeah. So
And
you finished in England.
I was in Cornwall with Nicola. We were having tea, and we were walking the dogs, and I was there, and I realized halfway through that I couldn't stay there. I needed to finish.
Yeah.
So I designed my own sampler, and it contains motifs from all of the samplers.
Oh,
And it contains the girls in order that I stitched them. And then I'm at the bottom because they are me and I am them.
that is beautiful.
And it got me home. And then I took this to Sampler Symposium. And in the rush of it all, I didn't hear the word share in the show and share. So I put it out thinking, yay, everybody's going to look at it. How cool is that? And then they hand me a microphone. And still very emotional about all of this journey. And I stand up, and who's right in front of me? Nicola. Tears. I'm like, oh, look away. And I look over, and I see you and Brenda.
Brenda's crying, right?
Brenda's crying, and I'm like, oh, I just need to hide. Like, I need out of here.
Oh, but it was so touching and so impressive. We could feel how much these stitches meant to you. And it's a beautiful thing.
Someday somebody else is going to be, and they're going to be like, who's Dawn in California? What's California? I mean, it's going to be, it was an amazing journey for me. And I'm happy I did it. It's just, and you said you wanted me to show them all, so I did.
I did. And I hope it was a healing journey.
It is. I see them, and I'm so emotional because I see
what went into them.
Me as a teenager, my parents, my brother, just life, these girls, how they've stitched, and they're no longer here. I'm not going to be here forever. So it's all this lovely thing.
Oh, but their stitching lives on.
Yep. So
and they're not forgotten.
Nope. So the last thing I'll show before my whips is Susan Standley. That lady.
Another talented lady.
Getting me squirreled off. I tell you what. I did.
Oh, look at that.
All by hand. I'm so proud of myself.
As you should be.
I had so much fun because you could incorporate cross stitching in it, in the label.
Oh.
And then good old Roxanne at Grand Country Quilt.
Show it again. Oh no, show it again. Thank you. Roxanne at
Grand Country Quilt.
What?
Fabric for the next one.
Oh, yeah.
This is Tilda fabric. Oh. Look, it's like Liberty. Oh, jeepers.
So gorgeous.
These are perfect.
So you're going to do another one.
But I don't know if I'll do it the same size and shape because I thought table mat for retreats.
Perfect. I thought you were going to tell me you're going to make it bigger. Because you can.
Because, I need to have more stitching in my life.
Oh, that doll quilt is perfection. You did such a great job on it.
Thank you. I'm
so impressed.
This scratches a really deep itch, man.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't know.
You didn't even know you had, right?
I didn't even know I was itching. I was tickling. It's like
all by hand.
All by hand,
every
including
bit of it.
The quilting.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Are you doing the paper piecing? That she's teaching now?
Not yet. With this kit, she gave you a little one, and I thought, okay, Dawn, you need to wait till you see what I'm cross stitching. It's like you need to just
There's only so many hours in the day.
There's
I
only
know.
so many hours in a day, and
I know. Oh, we lost your camera.
okay, why? Okay, sorry.
That's okay. There we go.
I'm just excited.
We're stitchers. We're not.
So
techie.
I'm stitching Nicola's teaching ABC sampler.
Oh, you are. Oh, wow. Okay, so what specialty stitches have you put in that sampler so far?
So this is 2 kinds of herringbone.
Mm.
This is running stitch. This is I think double running stitch. Yeah. And I haven't done the one that she did last week, so I'm going to be behind. And here's where she asked us to stitch and what's on the back. You know,
Is that your practice before you work it in the sampler?
Some of it, but this is she at one of her FlossTube, she had a prize and she said, if you stitch like this, what's on the back? And so I stitched them so I could see what was on the back. Because most of these stitches are reversible in some form.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes. She taught us that at the Queen City Sampler Guild, you know, thinking about what you're doing in the back too.
Yep.
And it was amazing how you could get the back to look like the front.
Mm-hmm. Or different, you know, like it
but
could
still,
like, yeah, pretty.
Yes.
So I didn't do any I didn't do any reversible cross stitch because I'm going to make this into a weight for my table, because we do a lot of different craft things. I'll put probably leather on the bottom and then fill it with lizard litter, so it'll be a weight so that I can see, like, because I stitch in hand and everything is curly, but at the end of the day I weight it flat so that it doesn't remember the curl.
Yeah.
So I don't need it to be reversible. So I'm not making this one reversible.
All of your cross stitch is done in hand.
All of it is in hand.
All of it's in hand.
All of it's in hand.
Yeah.
So I have 4 big things as a whip.
Okay. So now we're going to move to whips.
Yep. Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow.
Yes.
I'm not going to put the back stitching in because I am stitching in hand, and this is a big piece of fabric.
Whoa.
So I'm going to not do the big stitches, not do the long stitches until the very end.
Yeah.
But I got to get back on that because that needs to be worked on. And at the attic in January, I bought this pattern. And all of
that is stitching.
Yep. And then this and that is on other pieces of fabric. So
you're going to stitch it on other pieces of fabric and then adhere it.
Yep. You sew it together. I don't know what I bought the kit from Saju because these are snaps, actual snaps, and these are actual buttons, and these are actual ribbons, and and it's with their colors.
The Saju threads.
It's Saju threads, and I didn't know how to convert it, so I bought the kit from them.
Yeah.
And okay, here's the fabric.
Is it a bed sheet?
And it barely has 2 inches around.
That looks like that would be something I'm stitching. So a 2-inch margin, it's big. It's not solid.
It's not so, it's going to be so much fun. And I wanted to get it started, but you know, needed to have space and time.
Right.
And then
plus the pattern is the size of a poster. It's on one sheet. You know what
I'm gonna not, like, I can't really show it because it's got its pattern, but this is the pattern.
Do you remember the road trips with our parents, and our mother would be navigating with the road maps? That's
This is it.
what it reminds me of.
I know. So I've got it figured out. I'm gonna do it on the iPad, but it's a change in how I do, so I need to go there.
Yes, you need to prepare for that.
So we're both going to summer school, and
We are. I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
I know.
Linda Danielson of Samplers
Remembered.
Yep.
Oh,
Mexican schoolgirl sampler. So
this is such a beautiful sampler, and I don't know that I've seen anybody else working on it recently.
She's a big girl again. I lost my
Your board?
My board. Don't know what I did with my board. It's chaos over here, man.
Wow.
And the bulk of it is long arm cross stitch. Oh, wait, it's upside down.
Is it?
It's not.
No.
This just looked ghosty because you can't hardly see it, but
yeah.
It's mostly long armed cross stitch.
For people who don't know, what is long armed cross stitch?
So a cross stitch is this. And a long arm is this, but when you cross, you do a long arm, and then there's a short arm, and then a long arm. So it ends up looking almost plaited, like braided on the top.
One leg is longer than the other.
Yep.
And you just
you just keep going along towards the right or left, depending on which direction you're stitching.
Mm-hmm.
But it ends up looking kind of braided. Let's see if I can.
Might be hard to.
Yeah, it's not going to focus, but so I thought I'd do this, and so I could show Linda that I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
I love it that you're doing that.
And then
could you imagine, as a designer, someone comes up and says, look, I'm stitching
look at what I did,
your project, and I love it.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to show it to her,
Yeah.
And then we were out of town for a little while, and while we were out of town, all of my friends from Sampler Symposium start texting me and saying, go look at the attic Instagram, go look at the attic Instagram. I'm like, okay. And nobody's telling me why, and I'm like, I don't have the time. I'm doing other things. I can't do this. But then late one night I looked, and the attic has posted that they found a stash of Sarah Brazier. This is one of 2 of my unicorn charts.
Really?
I did not know hats in 2018.
Yeah.
So I missed out on it. And I've been like, I go look, and I'm not going to spend $160 on a chart. I'm not yet anyway.
On the secondary market.
Yep. And so then they said, oh, we found a stock. And I'm like, oh, I called them like right away. Said, just send it to me. And so I got it. And I cannot tell you how, and I'm so excited. I have my unicorn chart. What am I going to do?
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I got all of the Soie d'Alger.
Oh, beautiful. My favorite.
And this is Zweigart Summer Khaki.
So the attic kitted it up for you too?
No, because I wanted to see it.
Oh,
I decided what I wanted to do it on.
Oh, yeah.
And so I thought, okay, this one, it's got so much satin stitch. It has to be done in silk.
Those borders, there you go. Those borders.
It has to be in satin stitch.
Yeah.
So Okay, I'll do it in the silks. And I like the 103s, but it's a little too smooth for me for satin stitch. So Soie d'Alger will have a little bit of a body to it. And
What's the count
then
as your linen?
it's 40. I don't need another bed sheet. And then I'm looking at Instagram.
What did you find? Oh, you found a project bag for her. Oh, it's beautiful.
Patchwork paw print. She printed out these panels, and I'm like, I have to have.
Yes, you do. You have to have that. If that's your unicorn chart, you have to have the right project bag. That's stunning.
And it's so perfect. I mean, it's just a basic, it's so perfect.
Okay, so what's your other unicorn chart?
It is, let me see, it's a Bristol sampler, and it has a giant squirrel in the middle of it.
Mm.
And it has an elephant on it, and it has a sailing boat on it. I'm not sure that it's actually been charted.
Oh,
It's at the Cooper Hewitt in the Smithsonian. And so the next time we travel there, I'm going to see if I can't actually see the real thing and ask him, has it been charted? Has anybody else done it? And if not,
they might let you chart it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know the status of it. I don't know, like how good it is. So I'd have to do it there if I did it. I've never done that. So, that's easy.
It's not hard. You totally can do it.
Yeah, so I've got a picture of it, and I think Dutch Made Designs, Colleen, what is her name?
Dutch Treat Designs,
Claudia. I think she talked about it at one point, or she's mentioned it or something. So I need to get connected with her to see if she's done it, but dude, this thing, oh my God, it's the most amazing motifs on it. It's just crazy.
Is it on the website for that museum?
No.
Okay.
I do have it. I have it. We'll post it, the link.
Fine. Yeah.
And then the very last thing that I have is, when we go to the attic, you have to kit things up. So I'm going to get.
Who is that now? This is by Antiques.
It's
Crustage
Antique. Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to get some sort of, I love green. So green silk, like gum nuts or Gloriana or something that, because it's pretty small and I could just get two and, stitch with a new silk.
It's a great idea.
So how's that for madness?
Oh my gosh. I am just amazed at all the different things that you've stitched and your creativity.
Well, thank you. Well, I am too, to be completely honest, because I don't think about it. I do it and I'm doing it and whatever. Like, who thought I'd stitch this enormous thing on full coverage 40 count? Sure, it's fine.
I know. And then so you going through, this is how I feel if I start going through my stitching. It's like, oh yeah, I stitched this. Oh yeah, I stitched that too. And why don't I have that hanging on my walls?
And see what's behind is
yes,
I display it, or I use it, or I give it away. Like a lot of the stitching from my parents is back with me now. My brother has some of it as well.
Yeah.
So things do come back to you or not. So I have no idea where some pieces are because I'm not in touch with the people anymore. But it's okay. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. Where's your stitchy spot in the house?
It's in the smallest bedroom in the front of the house over the garage.
Okay.
Some other time, maybe I'll show, we redid my stitching closet and I used IKEA cabinets, and Greg made new doors so we could stretch different linens over it. So all the doors are linens and the drawer pulls are floss spools.
Very cool.
And then my label maker came out and everything's labeled.
I can't imagine.
So yeah, it's lovely. I'm so grateful to have you in my community, and you are so wonderful, Grace. Thank you so much.
So are you. Your projects are amazing. I learned so much about you today. I just loved it. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And we'll do it again sometime. And I promise not to be this long-winded.
Oh, you weren't, but you weren't. It was perfect.
Oh, good. Good,
Yeah,
good.
no, it's perfect. All
Excellent.
right. So thank you all for watching, and say bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.